attending. If any persons present are recording, videotaping this meeting, you must notify the chairperson at this time. Anybody out there have that much interest?
No.
Apparently not. Okay, attendance, David Singers.
Yo.
I'm present. Mayor is present. Chief is present. Diana is present. Gene Wall, Eugene. Jim Wynn,
Here.
present. Jen.
Someone named iPhone 60.
She's on the phone, you think?
No, I said there's an
That may be
iPhone
her.
60.
Oh, that's David, I think. Okay, and Amy?
That was
No.
my CIA number.
And David M.
Oh, no, it's
So we
Greg.
also have
I think it's
Laura.
Greg.
Greg Diefendorf.
Oh,
Here.
Greg. Greg. Laura, Greg, Peter,
Present.
Katrina, Neil, Joyce. I think I
Yes.
saw Dennis Ross there too.
Yeah, I'm here, Butch.
Hi, Dennis. How are you?
Good, doing well, thank you.
Okay. Quorum. Great. Approval of the prior minutes. So we have three. We have September 14th, October 12th, and October 19th, which was the special one for the PCOs. So on September 14th, we had myself, David Singer, the mayor, the chief, Diana, Steve, Amy, Jen, Jim, present. And Peter, I believe, mailed all those out. I saw.
Return to your minutes. Against the next level.
Hmm.
Do you sign for?
Is there a motion for the September 14th?
I make a motion to accept the minutes as read.
So moved.
Okay. Is there any further discussion on the minutes for September 14th? Hearing none. How do you vote? Where did my voting sheet go? David Singer,
Yes.
I vote yes. Mayor,
Yes,
chief,
Yes.
okay. Well, Diana,
Yes.
thank you. And Jim Wynn,
Yes.
very good. Okay. Moving on to October 12th, regular meeting. Persons present was myself, David Singer, the mayor, chief, Diana, Steve Draculich, Amy McMahon, Gene Wall, Jennifer Stromsten, and Jim Wynn. Is there a motion for the October 12th?
so moved. Mayor.
Second.
Any further discussion?
Butch, just for the record, I think Jen Stromsten just joined the meeting.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Noted. Any further discussion on the October 12th? Hearing none. David, how do you vote?
Yes.
I vote yes. Mayor,
Yes,
chief,
Yes.
Jen,
excuse me.
Bless you.
Yes.
Thank
Jim
you.
Witt, Jean,
Yes.
and Jim Wynn.
Yes.
Okay, special meeting on October 19th for the PCOs. Let's see, present, myself, David Singer, the mayor, chief, Diana, Amy, Jen, Jim. Is there a motion for the special meeting on October 19th? David said, so move second.
Second.
Any further discussion? No. David, how do you vote?
Yes.
I vote yes. Mayor,
Yes.
Chief,
Yes.
Diana,
Yes.
you, Jen,
Yes.
and Jim.
Yes.
Also, for the record, it looks like Steve Draculich has joined and might be riding a horse to the meeting.
Yeah, I think he was over in Westfield.
Okay, just checking.
Nice. Hi, Steve.
I'm jumping on 91 right now.
Yeah,
Oh, literally on 91.
okay. All right. That takes care of that. So we're moving to the payment summary and the submittals, and I sent that out to everybody, and I'll just turn it over to Neil Joyce to run down the list for us.
As part of the package that went out prior to the meeting, should have been a series of invoices from DA Sullivan, Construction Monitoring Services, New England Builders and Contractors, Pacheco Ross, Box Modular, and Multivista in the amount of $1,210,294.84. Incorporating those into our budget update brings us to a total of 15.445 million spent to date. That's roughly 71.2% of our available project budget. Construction is roughly 72% complete. So we're tracking very well with the overall project in terms of other expenditures as well. And we're maintaining approximately $850,000 in unspent contingency as of today. So I will be happy to take any questions. Just one other point of item through change order 5, which was the work that we approved at the late October meeting. We are at 0.77% of the original contract value for change orders to date. $111,621, which is very, very good in terms of overall standards, considering we're almost 3/4 of the way through construction and we're still under 1% in changes. So I'd just like to point that out to the committee.
I would like to,
Apologize, I'm fighting a little bit of a cold, but I'm happy to take any questions the committee has relative to the budget update.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the bills as presented and the budget update as presented as well.
Second.
Okay, any further questions on the payment summary? And it's 44 pages, whatever it was I sent out to everybody. Hearing none. Are there any questions on the budget as Neil presented it?
Butch, I don't have a question. I do have a comment though, if it's all right.
Sure. Yeah, go ahead.
I would like to thank our design team, our construction, and our project manager especially for keeping the changes down to a very bare minimum. It's been an effort and I appreciate everybody's effort.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I'll add to that comment if I may.
Sure, go ahead, Katrina.
Likewise with the chief, it's been a great team effort, particularly with DA Sullivan on board and the OPM. You know, Neil's been great, Tim's been great. It's just been very smooth.
Thanks. Anybody else? Okay, how do you vote, David? To accept as presented?
Where'd he go?
He's driving.
Yes. Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank
driving,
you.
so I went on mute. You can come back again if that
Oh.
happens.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes.
Okay, I vote yes. Mayor,
Yes.
Chief,
Yes.
Diana,
Yes.
Steve? He's driving. Gene Wall,
Yes.
Jen
Yes.
and Jim. Thank you very much. Okay. Those two items. Thanks, Steve. Okay, the next item up is the change order update. I'll have Neil explain it because there's some credits that have come in that have offset a couple of the change orders.
Katrina, can you do the change order, please?
Yes, just give me a moment. I did not, I did not call that one up on my screen, so just bear with me a moment. So there is a credit related to the alerting system that is, and I apologize, I'm still pulling this up here.
And everyone should have it. I sent all that information out to all the committee members, so
Okay, great.
if anyone wants to see it on the screen, I'll share the screen with you.
Thank you. So there was a credit of $33,683.08 related to the alerting system because the work, the components that were in contract are duplicated by the system that actually the department has ordered, to my understanding, for the station alerting system. So there's a credit off of the electrical subcontractors contract. And for there are two other proposed change orders that were involved that were positive. So they added up to a little bit more than $36,000. So I'll get into the individual. You should have all of the individual information that Butch sent along. PCO 32 was for added bollards at the generator and at the transformer on the west side of the station. There were 6 more at the generator, particularly because the tank was longer than anticipated early in the project. And with the transformer being located now between the parking and where the vehicles return off of Coombs, we heard that those were requested by Eversource. So those are the extra 8 bollards, including foundations and concrete infill in those bollards. And then PCO 33 for the larger generator tank pad under the tank. So it was the length and the width did change. And so that was extra excavation, etc. But that's what those two were for. And I think I have to call up another email. I apologize. This is
The total change order of about 2,900 and change. Okay.
Thank you, Dennis. I know I had it here somewhere. I just wanted to get it all in there. Okay, yes. So the overall change order, when you put all 3 of those items together, was for $2,908.63.
Perfect. Is there a motion to accept the change order?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second,
Any further questions for Katrina on the change? That offset of 33,000 really brought it down to a very small number. Okay. David Singer, how do you vote on that?
Keep those offsets coming. Yes.
we like those parentheses.
I
Yeah,
love
for
those
sure.
offsets. It's good.
Just for the record, that should be recorded as a yes vote, Butch.
Yeah,
I
right.
said yes.
Okay, I vote yes, Mayor.
Yes,
Chief,
Yes,
Diana,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Jean,
Yes.
Jen,
Yes.
and Jim. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. The next item up is the temporary power update. I'm looking for a motion to not proceed with the temporary power. And we'll get into the broad discussion of why we're proposing that.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second, Singer.
Thanks, David. Okay, Neil.
Thanks, Butch. So I'll try to resist the urge to read the memo that we issued to the committee earlier today, and I'll just try to summarize it.
Memo.
So as we had advised the committee back in the spring, a critical electrical element on the project was delayed. We received notice from the electrician very early on in the project that the main switch in the electrical gear would not be provided to the project until approximately March 1st of 24. As we had pointed out to the committee previously, this is not unique to Greenfield. Electrical items such as main switchgear and emergency generators are in very short supply, and lead times have swelled tremendously over the last 24 months to obtain this equipment. So none of this should be new news, but in case it was missed, I just wanted to sort of rehash that out. So we had engaged the contractor DA Sullivan, as well as Pacheco Ross, and the electrical subcontractor Universal Electric, to develop alternative plan to move the project forward in the event that it was necessary. We were able to essentially shed some of the electrical load for items such as air conditioning and otherwise, and develop a path forward for the project to function on a 1200 amp service. That's a 25% reduction from the 1800 amp, or 30% reduction from the 1800 amp service that will be installed in the final condition. Installing the 1200 amp service would require us to provide a separate disconnect switch, as well as new or different conductors back to the transformer. We met with the electrician and with Eversource and engaged them to confirm that it was an acceptable path forward for all parties involved. During that meeting, we had several discussions about estimated cost, and the cost numbers that were thrown around at that point in time, albeit they were best guesses at that point, were in the range of $70,000 to $100,000. So needless to say, we were quite surprised when we received the proposal back from the electrical subcontractor and DA Sullivan with a figure that approached $170,000 for the proposal. So that caused us great pause and pushed us back to reevaluate where we were schedule-wise. So we asked DA Sullivan to then prepare a schedule update and lay out for us when they intended to deliver the building to us if we went forward with the temporary electric option. So if the city committed the $170,000 and released the electrician to move forward, when would the building be available for occupancy? And the response was that the building would be ready in early February, on or about February 1st, for the city to occupy the temporary station. If the temporary service work is not completed and the gear is delivered on or about March 1, which is what's anticipated now, then the building would be ready to occupy in early April. So what we were talking about was essentially an 8-week swing, 2 months, in the intended occupancy date of the station. Understanding that the cost basis for the city to occupy the temporary station is roughly $31,000 a month. To extend an additional 3 months from January until February, we'd be looking at a cost of roughly $90,000 to extend into April. The other concern is if we did do the temporary electric work and we put the fire department into the building, what would be the anticipated disruption to their operations when we were removing the temporary work and installing the permanent work in the station? And while we can't guarantee that it would be flawless and seamless, there certainly is the likelihood that there would be some impact to the station while we were taking the power in and out. And further complicating that matter, in order to do it under the temporary electric work, we would have to have the emergency generator in place and operational to support the station in the event that there was a disruption in power during the transition. We were also advised in late October, which I think was sort of the kiss of death, if you will, for this proposal, that the emergency generator was delayed. It's supposed to be on site in late November, which would have given them roughly 2 months to get it hooked up and energized for a February 1 occupancy. But lo and behold, it is now scheduled to be delivered the week between Christmas and New Year's in late December. So holding that same period, I would not expect that the building would be ready to occupy as anticipated until probably mid to late February. So given those three factors, the cost involved for the temporary, the likelihood of disruption to the operations of the fire department after occupancy, and the inavailability of the electrical generator, we sort of quickly came to the conclusion that we could not recommend moving forward with the temporary electric. We confirmed with the chief, and I don't mean to speak or to put words in the chief's mouth, but I think we were all in agreement that it would be in the best interest of the department to remain in the temporary fire station, remain uninterrupted or unimpacted by the ongoing work at the permanent station. And I think there was a general consensus of agreement that that was the most sound approach to move forward with the project. So I wanted to, again, I just wanted to bring that up, kind of re-explain the thought process that we went through, reconfirm that we have done, I think, everything that we've done on our end to push the project forward. And just from an economic standpoint, it just doesn't make sense to incur that cost at this point in time. I'm happy to answer any additional questions that the committee may have, or provide any other information that you feel is necessary to guide your vote.
Neil, 30 of that 91,000, or roughly 31 of it, would be for January, which we would have had to spend anyways, right? I
Correct.
mean, we wouldn't, yeah. So it's really 60,000 that we're and change that we're talking about.
Are we okay with the mid-February move-in now?
No, we wouldn't move in mid-February because we wouldn't do the temporary power,
Okay,
and we wouldn't have the generator. That's the big Achilles too, right there.
Okay.
Necessarily up and running. Any other questions of Neil on the process?
What the
Go ahead.
electrical panel that's coming in mid-March, is that written in stone?
Is that what?
That you'll be getting the electrical panel. The electrical panel that's coming in March, is that written in stone? You get it March 1st?
No,
Or is that a guess?
no, that's a guess. That hasn't changed though since spring, that date. And I believe Neil last Monday's meeting said some of the major contractors he talked to indicated that supplies are starting to loosen up. That doesn't mean that it's going to show up for us, but
it hasn't affected the overall lead times, but the lead times are becoming more predictable.
Okay.
That's the indication that we're getting from other contractors in the market.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Anyone? So a yes vote would mean that we would not proceed with the temporary power solution. Okay. So David Singer, how do you vote?
Well, I just got in my car. I vote yes. Or
Yes,
no,
I
wait,
vote
what's the right vote? Am I
yes.
voting yes to
Yes
not
is
do it?
to
Yes
not
to not do
proceed.
it.
Right. I vote yes, Mayor.
Yes,
Chief,
Yes.
Diana? Uh, Diana? No?
Oh, sorry. Yes, I thought I was.
Okay. That's okay. Steve,
Yes.
Jean,
Yes.
and Jen,
Yes.
and Jim.
Jesus.
Yes.
Thanks. And I just want to add a note to that. We probably spent a good 2 months or more working on that. And I just want to, and it was a fair amount of work for Katrina and her group, for DA Sullivan, for CES and the engineering group, for Neil, as well as Eversource, to try to really work it out so that we could get in there temporarily. And they put a fair amount of time and effort into trying to make it happen. It just didn't.
Yeah, thank you, everybody, and thank you, Butch, for your very clear memo. And Neil for everything, bringing the numbers together.
Thanks. Katrina, maybe just an update of where we are in the design and construction
Sure,
schedule and progress.
sure, absolutely. So notwithstanding the electrical.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay,
say
Mayor.
goodbye.
Bye, Mayor.
Notwithstanding the electrical issues, the rest of construction continues at a very good pace. They are even painting on the inside. I know at least one person on this call has been through there recently, other than the chief and Peter and Butch and Neil. So if you haven't been, certainly someone can walk you through there. It's in coming together very nicely. I know they're working on tile in various places, like I said, paint. So a lot of the building is coming together. I know there's still some outstanding items on the exterior, like the louvers at the dormers that you see on the east side near the parking. But the overhead doors are in, so having the building almost completely closed up, there might be just some sealant that still needs to be installed. It really allows them to move forward with a lot of the equipment on the inside and keep the place controlled in terms of environment. So I know I saw wood doors in there. They're not hung yet, but a lot of the work is moving quickly. They've got a good number of people on site every day. And it's coming together nicely, including the outbuilding. The outbuilding is pretty simple in terms of a building, but that's coming along well too. The site, sorry, just one more thing, is that on the site, I think they were getting around to maybe getting some binder course down on some of the paving. I know yesterday I saw from the camera that they were doing some final grading in certain areas.
Yeah, and I think they had poured some aprons too around the building.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Any questions for
Katrina? I think the binder course is scheduled to go in the week before Thanksgiving.
Okay, so that's coming up soon.
And they're targeting mid-January for completion of finishes.
Yeah, I have a question, Kate and Neil. I'm assuming they're using temporary heat because you're doing tile and paint.
Yes.
And I assume they're using salamanders, which are propane. So how are they controlling the humidity that is coming off the salamanders?
They're actually, Dennis, I think that they're using diesel-fired indirect heaters.
Ah, okay.
So they're not using propane.
Oh,
And
all right, good. That's good to know.
We are monitoring both temperature and humidity with sensors throughout the building.
Good to know. Thanks, Neil.
Thanks, Dennis.
Any other questions? Anybody? The group?
Butch, I'll just add, in terms of progress, we had met with Katrina, as well as the chief and his team. And I believe we are recommending for acceptance an order for furniture with WB Mason in the amount of roughly $125,000. I'm not sure how much detail we want to go into, but that's everything in terms of office furniture, training rooms, dormitories. I believe it's everything but the kitchenwares.
Sure. Can you send me a list of all the stuff and then I can send it out to the committee as well?
Yeah, we can do that.
Chief, you had a question or a comment? Chief?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. We're muted.
Yeah, so it includes the furniture, the dorm furniture, like Neil said, the kitchen furniture, or the furniture in the offices, the training room, the conference room. It does not include the electronics such as the TVs.
Okay. And Neil, when do you expect you should be ordering this stuff?
We'd like to order it right away. They've given us an 8-week lead time for most of the furniture, so it's not incredibly critical, but we'd like to get it in. Right now it's scheduled to be delivered in mid-January. As soon as the contractor is done, we want to be right behind him with the furniture. Give him some urgency to get out.
Okay. So what is the dollar amount that you're?
Butch, but for the two furniture orders together, it is $114,621.49. And to that, I'd like to add a $10,000 furniture contingency, because I'm sure that things will change and we'll need a bookcase here or some extra chairs there as we're moving through the process. So I would ask for not to exceed $125,000, and it will be done with WB Mason through state contract pricing.
Okay.
And I can send out, obviously, we can forward the quotes to Laura. I think we're just waiting for the final color selections to be made for all the furniture items.
And as I recall in some of the meetings we've had, you felt the pricing was very, very good.
Yeah, we had budgeted $225,000 for furniture and loose equipment, and only having to purchase kitchenwares and other things of that sort remaining. I think we're in very good shape furniture wise.
Is there a motion for $125,000 not to exceed for furniture?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. And we'll send a list of everything out to the committee as soon as Neil and the chief get it all together. Is there any further comment, questions on the furniture request? Hearing none. David, how do you vote?
Yes.
I vote yes. Mayor's gone. Diana? Steve?
Yes.
Jean?
Yes.
Jen?
Yes.
And Jim? Good, thank you very much.
And you skipped over me, Butch. Yes.
Yes. Oh, Jim. Okay, that's it for today's meeting. The next meeting I have scheduled for Thursday, December 14th. Really, we're starting to get into the holidays. If it turns into a problem, we can adjust the date, but that's what I have so far. Okay, motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
There.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? What do you want to keep going?
No, thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Great
Thank you.
Thanksgiving, everyone.
You too, Dennis.
Thank you,
Thank
Dennis.
Katrina.
Thanks.
Too.
Thank you. You too.
Good night.
Butch, I just sent you those quotes. You should be
Oh,
all set.
perfect. Yeah,
All right.
I'll send them out. Thanks.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great night.